What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK The WrecK?
I'm doing great as always, Chris. How about yourself?
Oh man, everything's great. Looking forward to the holiday season. Man, it's creeping up. Christmas, it's almost here. And Hanukkah, we haven't forgot about you. Hey,
Yeah,
but
and the
we
weather's
definitely...
telling it too. It's cold.
It's getting really crispy outside. That is for damn sure. But then it's kind of random in Southern California. Then you wake up and then it feels like we're getting closer to spring. What is it? Make up your mind. But hey, we definitely want to address this at the top of the hour because we have some breaking news. E3 is officially dead. We have a statement from the Entertainment Software Association. After more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Are you surprised by this announcement, HenricK?
No, not really. I mean, they haven't done anything big for quite a while now, so it was kind of expected that either they're going to come back in this big fashion, or this is just going to not ever happen again. But hey, maybe that's the chance now then for some other event to take place and show, hey, we can be the next E3.
Yeah, it doesn't help though when everybody from Sony to Nintendo and Microsoft, for example, are all kind of doing their own showcases and kind of abandoning what brought Unity together. So I guess that is for award shows now.
I guess
or Summer Game Fest. So I bet they're all kind of excited, like, yeah, we can be the top dogs now. So that's very unfortunate. It brought us a lot of great memories. I wasn't available to attend these events, so I know there's a lot of gamers out there that are like, man, I wish I had that kind of experience. And maybe one day we might get something of that kind of experience. But shout out to all the people that worked for E3 all those years. You guys put an excellent job bringing the community together. But we always like to start off the show with the bang. We always like to discuss goofy content that's circulated all across the globe, and this one's definitely very goofy. It's becoming something that's an ongoing trend where there's thieves out there and they want to do everything in their power to just ransack places like Best Buy. And this was a clip that was going viral over the weekend.
Man, what the fuck is wrong with this shit?
That's crazy. Wild, right?
Yeah, especially wild considering no one's stopping them, nothing, because no one can touch them. No one can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of the comments that were being addressed about this one video. All those consoles will easily be locked down by Sony in no time. Is that truly the case? Because I know you work for Geek Squad, it's a kind of a part-time thing. How does that work out? Do they get bricked?
I mean, no, not really. I don't think so. I think the only thing that the company can really do as a result of this is say, hey, you guys need to lock these up rather than have them on display for people to just take.
Wow, that's kind of crazy because I know even in, at liquor stores, when you get scratchers, for example, and someone robs your place and they take all the scratchers, well, people don't realize the vendor actually takes log of the last scratcher that they sold at the end of the night so they can void it all out. You would assume that Sony would have that same protection. These basketball players are getting out of hand. Nah, the last woman dead could have gotten tackled easily. So true. When I saw that video, it's pain. A lot of people are very frustrated over this. Some people feel like this video must have been shot in the state of California, considering that, everything's kind of a misdemeanor under $1,000. How do they charge them? They just charge them as a group? Because the minute you hold in 2 bundles, you're easily over 1,000. So the fact that, you really wouldn't want store clerks and people really kind of putting hands on nobody, because God knows what's on them, right?
You don't know what people have on them, whether they have a gun or some other form of weapon. You don't want to deal with that.
And it clearly looks like a Best Buy in this video, so they got plenty of insurance to kind of protect themselves, but it's a very sad state of affairs. But to kind of bring it more back on a good feeling note, this is probably the greatest video of 2023. I'm just calling it out right now. I love this. I love a good revenge scheme in video games, and everybody's been jumping on the craze with Lego Fortnite, which is bringing back, kind of some of that Minecraft elements. And Tim the Tap Man, Ninja, and Cypher PK, they were all in this Lego world together. And, Cypher PK decided to do a little prank on them after they were building the houses. And if you guys have played the game, you got to understand that when you build these massive homes, sometimes it can take like 45 minutes to an hour, even when you're teaming up with the partner, just because you got to get the loot and the material to be able to produce the home. But this is why this is so great. You guys got to check this out.
This is Cypher PK's house. Some of you might not know, but we felt the pain of building our wonderful house over there, me and Tyler, and Cypher ruining it.
Let's go, Timmy.
So what we decided to do was we wanted Cypher to know what it feels like.
He needs to understand what we went through.
After 45 minutes of building that, he destroyed our hopes and dreams. So now here we are to let him know and return the favor.
All right, here we go. Yo, dude. PK, I just want to show you something real quick, dude. You see what's in Tim's hand right there, dude? You see that? Yeah, you see that? Listen, dude. You started this, all right? You started this. Pelican, Tim! Pelican!
We'll be seeing you, Cypher!
Oh, baby! Oh, my God!
How about them nuts?
This is what's left. What's left?
Comedy.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely reminds me of plenty of times, playing Minecraft with my friends. And, one of the first few times I ever played Minecraft with some friends, we decided, let's make some houses, and then we'll show each other the houses. I made this underground mine shaft that you go into a minecart, and then as you go down this slope, it just triggers a bunch of TNT, and everyone died.
So people are going to be able to bring these kind of elements in Lego, and what an amazing collaboration. And the first comment that we got here was, these are grown men. And yes, grown men still play with Legos. Did you not see Miles Turner after the in-season tournament? He builds the Legos. He doesn't play with them. He builds them.
Nathan, you are a hater.
Yeah.
You are a hater, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a little man mentality, Nathan Little _ Nah, Cypher blew up one wall. They blew up his whole house. That's what makes it the greatest revenge video. I love it. I hope they keep producing more of this kind of style of content. And last, get back of the year. I 110% agree with you. It is legendary. But, people are having a lot of fun. We're still playing Wii Sports, are we? Is that something that you like to do still, HenricK?
Honestly, I don't think my Wii's been connected since my parents took it down after Netflix died on that.
So the minute, you lose the media content, what, you switched over to the Fire Stick? Is that what you're telling me?
We just basically use a Chromecast now, like one of those Android TV box Chromecasts.
Oh, that's hilarious. But I know, Wii Sports definitely feels like within the millennial generation is going to live the test of time. And this is just a very funny video. If anybody that's ever played Wii basketball, you're going to relate to this video. So let's go ahead and take a look. And that's the game. Oh, he was like,
hey, you know what? All those sound effects are so iconic. I think everyone who has ever touched a Wii has most likely played that game, so everyone knows that game's sound effects.
Yeah, that's so funny that you referenced that, because that reminds me of how my dog reacts when the Ring doorbell goes off. It knows exactly what's coming. It's the mailman. I'm gonna get your ass. I'm gonna get you. But exactly. We gotta pretend like the lightning didn't look sick in the background. I completely missed that the first time, and I'm sure you, the viewers, did too. So this is a live show. you're going to have to rewind that and definitely see if you caught that the first time. Second comment we got is the graphics are way too good. I know, who could have thought? And
It's almost like it's real life.
right? And that's not a parody. That's actually how white folks play ball. Hey, leave us out of it, okay? We definitely can play ball too. You've never seen White Man Can't Jump? I'm not talking about the Jack Harlow. I'm talking about the Woody Harrelson. That's what we're talking about, baby. But we got a legendary show for everybody that's going to be tuning in live for Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And before we even start off the show, I want to make sure that you guys go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, The Chris College Show. There is a QR code. You can go ahead and take a screenshot and like, share, and subscribe. And also, we got our homeboy, HenricK The WrecK. You got to follow his YouTube channel. He's got amazing video summaries and journals, always cooking up, always a great time. But HenricK The WrecK, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, I am, and I know what's coming. It's time to rage.
Come on, baby. Woo!
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This is of course a sequel to 2022's Modern Warfare 2. It's the series' chance to round out the reboot trilogy that was started in 2019. So that being said, let's start by going over the gameplay and see what there is to offer this time. The gameplay of Modern Warfare 3 is going to be very familiar to anyone who has played Call of Duty, especially if you played any of the reboot games. This is not necessarily a bad thing, as it means longtime fans will be able to just jump in and go. However, this time around they did decide to change things up a bit in the campaign missions. The campaign has taken the armor mechanic that they've been using in Warzone and slapped it into the campaign. This means that after taking damage, you'll need to armor up again manually. Some missions have also taken a different approach with quote open combat missions. These missions forego giving you a crafted experience and instead drop you into a combat zone and let you decide how you want to approach things. However, each of them end up lacking substance due to not having a crafted story delivered to you, and as a result feel like a slog to get through after a couple of them. On top of the campaign, there is also an updated multiplayer, a zombies mode, and the Warzone Battle Royale. But how is the story? This is the third in a trilogy after all. The premise of the story of course follows the events of the previous two games. Makarov, the same villain from the original trilogy, is back, and it is Task Force 141's job to track him down and stop him. Along the way, you'll also have to thwart his plans of terrorism. The game goes to several different areas in the world in order to tell the story, as usual, but without spoiling anything, somehow the story falls flat and feels like it lacks any real stakes or character development. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't played the story yet, but this game, when you get to the, towards the end of the game, the ball's just getting rolling and then the credits roll. And I'm like, what? Really? That's it? I thought I was going to go on a few more missions. We were going to go chase after the main villain Makarov after he did this big event in the story, and I thought that things were just getting started, and then eventually the credits just rolled after a couple cutscenes, and I was are you serious? This is just as bad as Halo 2's cliffhanger ending.
Sounds like Christopher Judge was right after all at the Game Awards. His acceptance speech was longer than the campaign mode. I know you were dressed in the opening video. Excellent, by the way. The non-linear approach just doesn't work. I mean, I guess I would give the one credit to them. There is a solid performance and visuals throughout the game, but after a few hours of playing multiplayer online with friends, it just feels like there's little to offer over time.
Yeah, I mean, there was speculation that this game was supposed to be more of a DLC to Modern Warfare 2, and you can kind of see a lot of signs pointing towards that.
I mean, when you're bringing back 14-year-old maps, I mean, come on, it's definitely
They're bringing
a DLC.
back all these maps from the original Modern Warfare 2, which feels kind of out of place considering there's a 3 on this title. Wouldn't you bring back, if anything, Modern Warfare 3 maps, not Modern Warfare 2 maps?
That's a good point.
But aside from that, I mean, there's no real character development in this story. Like, there's really only one major thing that happens towards the end of the story, and that changes Captain Price's outlook on things a little bit. But outside of that, I mean, it's just this wild goose chase across a couple countries, and it feels like a rehash of the original stories, of the first and second game already, of the reboots. Just there's not much original going on here.
Well, there's no original because they really kind of focus mostly on the multiplayer experience, especially when multiple outlets are, with the same agreement like you and I feel. It was about 5 hours, would you say, right? 5 hours with the campaign?
Like 4 or 5 hours, about.
Right. Yeah. So, everybody wants to take a shot at Spider-Man 2 for being about a 15 to 20 hour completion time. Well, you got a game that's $70+ that's in a PS5 bundle competing with Spider-Man 2, and it's only offering you 5 hours of campaign experience. And then you jump into the multiplayer, which I guess the one cool credit is that a lot of the Modern Warfare 2 progression continues on with the new game, but the problem is there's over 37 new guns, which are greatly over-torqued, which help stand alone compared to the old guns. And they really want you to move on and utilize the new equipment that they're offering for you. But it just doesn't seem to work out. The progressions are just completely messy.
I mean, that's the thing, it's nice to see at least that, they did basically carry over your progress from Modern Warfare 2 if you were playing the multiplayer, which I think that has to happen more often, because there's been too many times when a Call of Duty game has been out for a year, then the next game comes out, and then you lose all your progress, all your cosmetic skins, and you got to start all over again. And I think after people are playing these games for so long, and they're, spending so much money on cosmetics in the game, you really kind of have to do that, because I don't want to have to go back and play an older version of the game that people are not playing anymore just to see the skins I bought.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I think that should just happen.
No, it's true. And it clearly feels like, the crunch period that Activision provided hurt this game badly, because traditionally in the past, the 3 development studios that work with Activision usually have room to experiment, and they give them a 3-year cycle. This game was developed within a year and a half, and it shows. And maybe one of the cooler things that they try to experiment with was the new open world zombies. I think maybe that's some credit, but then again, when you place it inside the Warzone kind of world, you wanted something new. And that's why a lot of fans were calling online like, we appreciate the approach, but let's go back to the arcade style and give me the rounds. That's the only way to approach zombies.
Because it just feels like they slapped zombies onto the DMZ mode, the extraction mode that they had. And it just feels half-baked as a result of them feeling like they just slapped it on there. Because now I can't play zombies like the way that I'm expecting zombies to be, the round-based, building out an area to go run through, knocking down zombies so that they're a crawler so you can go look at some stuff in the map and upgrade your weapons. None of that's happening. Because it's all open world now, in a sense, on the Warzone map.
Yeah, and you don't get some of that cool Easter egg elements that the zombie maps provided for the gamers. It's unfortunate. This is a hardcore pause, baby. I don't want to play it anymore. It's boring. There's a lot of other great games out there. Very, very unfortunate for Activision, but I do believe they will bounce back from this.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. I think that this game is really targeted towards people who did originally play the original trilogy back in 2011, ending there. And, that's basically you and I. We were in high school when that happened. Yeah. So, if anything, we would be the target audience, the target demographic. But it just didn't work. And I mean, if you really enjoy Call of Duty's gameplay, the gunplay is going to be familiar to you. It's going to be just like Warzone 2 with some added changes, here and there, more guns, like you said, kill streaks, things like that. But I feel like at the same time, there's games out there that sometimes they're even free that have, I would arguably say, better gunplay. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of more towards the arena shooters. So time to kill in those games are typically a bit longer. And there's games like that that are free. Like, I mean, the finals just came out for free finally. And, that's been really fun, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, what is your verdict, HenricK The WrecK?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear for me as well.
Well, we gotta hear it from you.
It is a pause. I am not going to be continuing playing this game. Maybe
we don't support 70
my
plus
buddies
games
are
for
like,
DLC.
yeah, let's hop on and play a couple rounds, just to see how bad this game has gotten over the past couple months.
We'll probably wait to revisit it when it's on the cloud gaming, but maybe that's a very hard if.
That's a good point, considering you don't have to install it then, and this game does take up a ton of space on your computer.
Yes, indeed. It's a big platter to fill on your console or PC. But you heard from us, it's both the pause. But hey, you the gamers, let us know what's good. Is this a game in the cop, or are they completely out? They're out of their misery, baby. But hey, let's go ahead and keep the show rolling. We got so much more left here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK The WrecK and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. For years, the Game Awards host and creator, Jeff Keighley, has tried to build up the show into the video game Oscars blended with the now dead E3. And while, yes, publishers absolutely do want to win the awards, and many fans care about who wins, one of the major criticisms of this year's award show was the heavy focus on promotions and light on the awards. And here's a graphic from IGN. Only 18% of the Game Awards were actually awards. And HenricK, I was watching my Steelers on Thursday Night Football in complete disgust with the performance that they gave me. And I couldn't believe that the show was still on after the football game. I mean, the Game Awards were way too long.
Yeah, they were really long. I was watching it at work, and I was in the middle of doing things. I walked out of my department. I come back, and it's still going on. I'm like, wow, I don't remember it being this long last year.
Yeah, and then they had like a pre-ceremony. They say it was going to start at 4:30, and then you see Sydney Goodman, and she's off on the side of the stage. They're not really showing the main stage, and it just was like awkward. You could tell she had a little bit of a, I don't know what was going on. Did they have they had a live countdown, and then she gets on, and she's kind of like fumbling her words, and they're doing rapid fire award announcements. But you thought that was only going to stick around for the pre-ceremony, but then, throughout the entire night, people were getting pushed off the stage with the music and only allowed about 30 to 45 seconds to give a speech to the fellow developers that were out there. And if you don't know what I mean, we got footage from inside the event when Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, and they're trying to say a special message to one of their developers. And let's just let the video speak for itself, because it's sad that the biggest award didn't get its dues on stage.
Spent their hearts and souls for 6 years on this game, in sometimes very difficult circumstances. This was our COVID game. Along the way, we lost quite a few people also, so we want to dedicate this to all people we lost, and especially to Jim, our lead cinematic artist, who passed away in the last month.
We understand that your lead cinematic artist passed away, but please, come on, wrap it up. I mean,
absolutely disrespectful, especially considering that's really the award that everyone is anticipating the entire night.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, think about some of the fumbles that were occurring. I mean, yes, it was very disrespectful, considering that, some of the other segments throughout the show just felt longer than needed. I mean, you had ads, you had Matthew McConaughey's announcement, about voicing a new game. Cool, but move along.
And that's
then
the thing,
you got,
if they do need to get out of there, quickly out of the building, by a certain time, then cut down these segments of ads and segments of people introducing games, because really what people are there for is the announcement of who wins what.
Yeah, and you want to hear from the developers, not Simu Liu, talking 5 times the length and discuss how he hurt his foot. Like, love you, dog. You're a great actor, but I don't care. And then what's up with Jeff's obsession with Hideo Kojima? Like, he always gets a spotlight every year during the show, and he talked for 15 minutes with an interview with Jordan Peele about this new form of media, movies and video games together. The game's called OD. And honestly, I'm just starting to call baloney with this dude. I just, what possibly could be a new form of media? We've seen, I have a feeling it's going to be exactly like Black Mirror. And then they're going to claim like we created this new art form. No, you didn't. It was dumb. It's really dumb. You want to look it up on your own time, the game trailer? Do it. It was dumb.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to go off of that trailer, honestly. But at the same time, if there's not much to go off the trailer, why did it take so long?
Yeah, especially when you spend like 15 minutes talking about this one game that didn't even show any gameplay. It was just film footage that looked photorealistic. But then, he's, Jeff Keighley, he's on stage and he's doing rapid fire awards for like best RPG, best racing sports game, best multiplayer, best art direction, to name a few, while quite literally shouting at the screen. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, those smaller awards, I guess they are technically smaller awards, but come on, at least give them
you would
the
think
time
the
of day,
best art directions, like at least one of the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a big deal for a lot of the categories that they just skipped over. Even, that one, for example. But all of them, honestly, have some merit to go off of. And you should give them the time of the day to be like, okay, this is who's winning this. Come up on stage, grab your award if you're here. Do a little thing you want to, say something.
It was like
go ahead
Neil
and do
Druckmann
that.
and Sam Lake. How they got rushed off
Yeah.
all quick. It was like, hey, we love you. We know you got a new season 2 as Last of Us. Bye-bye. Get going. But that didn't stop people from, streaming the show live on their own Twitch program. And everybody knows the very highly popular Kai Cenat. He was left animated after seeing Cyberpunk 2077 winning Best Ongoing Game Award over Fortnite, and Spider-Man 2 losing Game of the Year despite 7 nominations and 0 awards for Insomniac Games. And if you haven't seen his viral reactions, let's go ahead and take a look.
The year is
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Bro, okay, I never played the game or shit. But bro, Spider-Man didn't get 1 reward.
And that's what this award for Best Ongoing Game recognizes. The games that continue to deliver fresh experiences for their loyal community.
Fortnite.
Cyberpunk 2077.
What the fuck?
I just love how he gets so animated, and a lot of the viral clips with Kai don't show that ending part when it comes to the Game of the Year. And he goes, hey, by the way, I actually never played Baldur's Gate 3. Then what the hell are you flipping out about? I mean, did you not understand the milestone that it reached when it came on Steam? It was an indie developer, completely outpaced a lot of the AAA studios like Insomniac Games. Did you feel that kind of sentiment for him, even when it comes to like best ongoing game?
I mean, there's been a whole debate about this on Twitter and any social media right now, that, Spider-Man 2 got robbed at the Game Awards of Game of the Year. But all the people who are saying that, I feel like, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 and didn't see the whole impact it had on the industry. It changed how people perceived a lot of developers, because they were saying, oh, we can't deliver a game as AAA quality as them, even though we're the AAA studio.
Yeah.
And on Steam, they hit a milestone of record players, and then the weekend after that, they beat that. What other game this year has done that? None of them.
None of them. And I mean, just because you got 0 awards doesn't mean it's a terrible game. I mean, how do you feel about the rest of those film directors and producers, let's say for the Oscars, when they went up against Lord of the Rings Return of the King or the Titanic? You know, remember when they swept it? That doesn't mean the rest of the movies that were nominated with them are complete ass. They are excellent games. It's just how it goes. And I just got to address this real quickly, especially with, Kai flipping out about, Fortnite, the best ongoing game, and he's not the only one. Like, really, guys? We're going to pretend like Fortnite was very innovative for bringing back an old map? Isn't that the kind of shit that we're giving Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 about? Bringing back these dusty-ass old games from, back in the day when we were in high school? How is that the best ongoing game? We had Cyberpunk 2077, whether you like it or not. Bring in a new district, bring in a new storyline, adapt with a new skill tree, encouraging gamers to start over and play the game. It answered all of the bells and whistles that we all bitched about when it had the worst day one release probably in the modern era. So that was an amazing bounce back. And I thought, you know what, CD Projekt Red, they deserve their credit. And shout out to them because, I was slandering them a lot when it first dropped. But that was an amazing bounce back with this DLC.
I mean,
with Idris Elba.
You can't forget that state that the game was in, but to see how far it's come, it really is something that you can really give an award like this to, because this is the category for that sort of thing. It's not Game of the Year. They weren't going to get Game of the Year that year because of the fact that they launched the game in such a bad way. But the fact that it is an ongoing game still, it makes sense that it won. I mean, all the games in the category, they're all good in their own respect, but like you said, Fortnite, even though it's that big, giant, ongoing game, it only brought back the OG map.
Hey, let's just put it like this. Fortnite's definitely leading the charge for next year when it comes to best ongoing game. They have some of the most amazing collaborations when it comes to Lego Fortnite, Rocket Racing, and Fortnite Festival, so keep that in mind. But just, with the year 2023 just isn't the case. And we also had drama at the Game Awards. Call of Duty developers, past and present, have taken to social media to express their frustration with the comment made by God of War voice actor Christopher Judge at the Game Awards. So let's go ahead and take a look.
No 8-minute speech like last year, but fun fact, my speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. What?
HenricK The WrecK. Was Christopher Judge out of pocket for utilizing his position in the industry to clown Call of Duty at the Game Awards?
Maybe a little bit unprofessional, but he even says himself, oh, well, that's another company I'm never going to work for. And everyone in the crowd's like, oh, because they all know it's true. Unfortunately.
That's true. I mean, you would not get that kind of response from the crowd if he was talking BS. And what's kind of crazy about this, because a lot of the past and present developers, they all were tweeting about it during the show, and they were extremely upset. But then it feels like Activision must have sent a message to them because they quickly deleted their tweets. But luckily, at the people at IGN, they have the text still, and we wanted to show this because look, it's not found. They literally embedded it in their article and then they got rid of it. So luckily, we still have the text. So we have the first person that wrote, quote, funny, end quote. But yeah, the metrics that Call of Duty absolutely destroys all of the God of War games, probably combined, to be honest, and is also equally laughable, if not more. Associate art director of fellow Call of Duty studio Treyarch, Nelson Plumley, weigh in to, quote, imagine having short user engagement once your game is consumed. Can't relate. And last, honestly, as COD developers, we've heard way worse, but we don't expect it from a peer at an event that's supposed to be celebrating this year's achievements in gaming, especially with all the information that was leaked about its development. Do they have a fair point or not?
No, they do have a fair point, because typically award shows like this, it's really a chance for everyone to, uplift everyone and not really, try and put digs like that at each other and punch down or anything like that. It's really like, hey, we acknowledge you did a great job on this game, and keep doing great work.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And I mean, in a 3.5-hour ceremony, developers are the heart, the spirit, and the soul of the game. But Jeff Keighley received an onslaught of criticism from the gaming industry for not addressing the more than 9,000 developers laid off this year in 2023. And people online were quick to notice that Jeff had a rapid response in 2021 to address Activision Blizzard after a harassment suit by the state of California with tweets that state the following. Very first tweet that he wrote back in 2021 was, "Beyond its nominations, I can confirm that Activision Blizzard will not be a part of this year's The Game Awards. The Game Awards is a time of celebration for this industry, the biggest form of entertainment in the world. There is no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company or any community." He follows it up by saying, "I also realize we have a big platform which can accelerate and inspire change. We are committed to that, but we all need to work together to build a better and a more inclusive environment so everyone feels safe to build the world's best games." And you see that there, Henrik, and you go, well, that's kind of shockingly, that was literally like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and zero acknowledgement of probably the biggest shakeup in the gaming industry.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he wanted to say something, but, really felt like he couldn't because, he probably has people behind him as well. They know we don't want any controversy this year, things like that.
Oh, so you're saying like AAA studios like Sony, Microsoft, and, Nintendo would actually break away from the show?
Whoever's funding the Game Awards, they probably don't want controversy because, it's supposed to be a night of celebration and not a night of controversy after all. But at the same time, yeah, maybe the developers that they would call out for these layoffs might actually decide, hey, actually, you made some bad comments about us, so we're not going to show up for our Game Award to receive it.
And it definitely felt like Jeff and the crew heard the criticism. They definitely addressed that. They felt like, yes, I tried to tell my crew to lay down a little bit when it came to the music during the show. And there was also a declined petition signed by thousands of folks in and around the industry that asked the organizers to acknowledge the crisis in Gaza and call for a ceasefire. Jeff and the team respectfully said we didn't want any part of that. And I can kind of agree with that. As much as a human life is human life, but there's a place to do all that. This is not a political show or award show. This is about celebrating the life of gaming. So I completely understand where they are coming from when it comes to that. But you know what? You still got to give a shout out to Jeff. He's definitely revolutionized the game when it comes to, celebrating the life and acknowledgement of video games. And I know he's heard you guys' criticism, and they are back in the same venue next year. So if you want to tune in, you have that opportunity next December.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic of conversation. What's going on? It sounds like someone is, I don't know, rocking the cradle. Who is he catering to?
Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the first trailer for the long-awaited and latest installment in the uber-popular video game franchise Grand Theft Auto 6 just dropped, and the internet is losing its collective mind over this game. It looks amazing so far, it's just been the trailer, but everyone's been talking about it. But there is one person that's not too excited about the game, and we'll have to wait until 2025 to play the game, but it's Tesla's CEO and ex-owner Elon Musk, who tweeted the following.
He was responding to another user on X, and the guy wrote, "A list of games I have not played. GTA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then Elon responds, "Tried, but didn't like doing crime. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it." So,
hello, the game is called Grand Theft Auto. You didn't think there was going to be any crime in the game that you had to do?
I guess he doesn't know how to read or speak English after all. But, the first comment that we got here is, what the F am I reading? They're pixels, dog. I don't like doing crime, mother effers, when their homie invites them to the pedophile gala. Elon 3 minutes into the prologue mission when the cops show up. I know. He was probably crying during that scene. Hey, we all have friends that are men and women in blue, and I know that they definitely play Grand Theft Auto. Did you follow the traffic laws and stop at all the red lights? Could you imagine? I need to see a gameplay run through of the guy just stopping at every red light.
Yeah, I can't do that in games like that.
And some shit Drake would say. And it continued with a meme. Anyway, I couldn't help myself. Drake, the type of dude that stops at red lights in GTA 5. So Elon Musk's love for video games goes back decades. Fun fact, when Elon was 13 years old, he created a simple video game called Blaster and sold it to a magazine for $500. And ever since then, Elon Musk has been known to play plenty of violent video games. One of them, his favorite, is Elden Ring. And he's been trying to take steps towards X to be the everything app. And he was even test streaming video games on his platform playing Diablo 4. Also, again, another very violent game. So, HenricK, I can see why people have a problem playing video games that advocate for violence, but why now is Elon Musk doing the tango with virtue?
Oh, he's probably trying to appease some sort of person out there, maybe some investors who are looking at him and saying, hey, if you're going to have these platforms, you got to make sure you're spreading something that's not violent and bad. We got to have you saying some good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he hasn't had his fair share of, saying some violent rhetoric himself. I mean, in 2020, he threatened to, quote, coup whoever we want, end quote, to obtain lithium for Tesla. Some people would say, hey, what the hell does that mean? And even just last month, remember, he also said, I have a large graveyard filled with my enemies. Okay, but it's text, dog. Like, we don't even know whether you're joking or not. And this is a video game. And, now you're kind of doing the whole same thing all over again. Does video games create violence? Even you kind of addressed it, last week with, Columbine and how that became such a factor. But, he's even said before in the past, those who pick fights with me do so at their own peril. But maybe this is their lucky day. What does that even mean? I'm going to ban you from X. Okay, dog. Cool.
And another thing that's actually a pretty funny thing to bring up in regards to this topic is, when he was dating Grimes. Grimes is in Cyberpunk 2077 and has some voice lines. And he showed up with Grimes to the voice recording studio with a single round, like, musket, not a musket, but like a single round blunderbuss, saying, put me in the game.
Yeah, exactly. I totally forgot about that report. That's true. And, think about even Cyberpunk 2077. Aren't there dirty cops in the game?
Yeah, and you shoot cops in the game too. So, I mean, come on.
Come on, dude. I mean, way to cater towards your audience. He's definitely trying to cater towards the right-wing crowd. Dude, I get it. Really. It's so lame. I mean, this was a guy that, like, everybody was praising for, like, free speech and, like, the free way to express yourself. And that's what Rockstar Games allows with their medium. And to see him, start to deviate into kind of like a gremlin, I don't understand. It's very, very strange.
Yeah. But hey, moving on, let us know what's happening with Bethesda and Skyrim. I mean, that game's been released so many times, but what's happening now?
These guys can't seem to catch a break, HenricK. Bethesda published a surprise patch for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition that combined free mods and paid mods under a single creations banner. Bethesda says this new paid program is a way for creators and modders to have more flexibility, but the whole community doesn't agree because there are too many unanswered questions with creations, as the studio has not shared the revenue split. Modders were quick to express outrage with the new changes with the following comments. So let's go ahead and check out the very first one. Between paid mods and the utter disaster the last two Bethesda games have been, I have zero hype or interest now in Elder Scrolls 6. Damn, like that? Over a creation? Okay. I don't see how people can support Bethesda when they have shown time and time again the hate they have for their consumers because they want to give you an incentive to be able to get royalties from the mods. Okay. There's no better way for Bethesda to convince people to pirate the game than by breaking mods. Hours and hours of downloading mods, and yesterday morning I was finally satisfied with my mod list. Then this happened, and I have dozens of broken mods, essentially a broken game. Steam decided that my selection of to only update when I launched didn't matter, so they changed my setting and freaking updated anyway. PC version only had AE for about 2 months, and it was perfect as I had it. Thinking of asking for my damn money back. Yeah, bro. Doesn't work like that, dog. I've always loved and supported Bethesda, but now they're scaring me. And
now? Like all of a sudden?
Exactly. End of the year. Kindness and gifts. Bethesda, I shall ruin your Christmas. Man, it's kind of crazy how like people are getting really, really upset about this because, again, modders must apply to join the program, and if they're approved, they'll be able to get royalties from the sale of their mods. The only way to officially make money from mods. So, HenricK, modders, obviously, as we've seen from the comments, are clearly upset at Bethesda, but you can show all the hate that you want, but don't be surprised when Epic Games adopts this model for the Fortnite universe.
Hey, I mean, yeah, they might do that with the Fortnite universe, but I think that the Bethesda community, the modding community specifically, sure, it's a great idea on paper to, offer these modders a chance to actually make some money off of their mods, but the modding community has always had a very firm stance against paid mods like this. Like when they first did the Creation Club, people were like, no, we're not going to pay for these. Yeah, we're not going to pay for these. And in fact, I, as the modder, am going to go look for a mod that does the same thing for free. Because they're so against it and so against the idea. And, maybe now this opportunity is different than the Creation Club and maybe a better opportunity for modders. But it still has that stigma to it. And it still has the community reception of, I'm not going to pay Bethesda more money for a mod that they didn't actually make, that they actually just, basically in a sense took from the community. I mean, yeah, the modder has to apply to be part of this, but they're still kind of like taking that work and saying, yeah, come on over, we'll take your mod and put it in the game, and quietly we'll say that we made this happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, they're trying to make it so maybe it's a little bit more accessibly available to the console, I'm assuming. But there is an other side of the argument. There are supporters of the Creations update that encourage people to just ignore the mod marketplace and just stick to Nexus mods. But then you get other popular modders like Simon Magus, who wrote, quote, to Polygon. The quote says, "What happens to the creators of Xedit, of CK Fixes, or NIF Scope, or of Outfit Studio when their tools are used to make paid mods? Do they get compensated in any way?" And I thought that was a great point because you can go on Reddit, you can see that there are a lot of mod threads, and usually the community, if something's broken, they will throw it out there for other modders to kind of help build and create around that. So how is that going to necessarily work out? I'm not too sure. And I guess that is a good point. I mean, if you're not feeling, this new creations tab inside the game, you still have other outlets to go. I mean, for example, HenricK, I thought what was really, really funny is on Nexus Mods currently right now, someone's even created a mod to remove the creations menu option itself from Skyrim. So think about how quick that happened. I mean, that's very, very funny.
Yeah, that's just absolutely petty, and I love it.
Gotta love the mod community.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, yeah, that's a good point about, tools being used to make mods, because I doubt that there's going to be any revenue going back to the people working on those tools, especially because a lot of these tools, they've been around for so long at this point. Skyrim's at this point, 12-year-old game. So you can think about how long people have been around modding this game already. And these tools that are basically the frameworks of a lot of mods, they've had development for probably almost 12 years as well. And you know, a lot of mods really depend on them. So when a paid mod is going to have some need for that, I don't think it's going to go back to the people who originally made those tools.
Yeah, I think those are all excellent points. And, you know, hey, we want to hear from the modding community. How do you guys feel about this? Are you in line with what Bethesda's doing, or would you rather see it go back to just being its own thing itself? But HenricK, let's start to switch
maybe part of it, just
it.
as a last thing, I guess maybe part of it is the fact that the tools are not provided by the company, like how the tools are provided by Fortnite. I guess that's the big difference here.
Yeah, those are all excellent questions that, you know, Bethesda will have to address, or they will lose the modding community overall. But let's go ahead and start switching topics, because, you know, 2023 was played with remasters and, you know, all that kind of fun jazz, and seems like it's not stopping anytime soon. Let the people know what's going on, HenricK.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sega, you know, they've had a bunch of older games that, you know, haven't seen very much love in a long time. But it's time to dust off those joysticks, because they are rebooting a handful of retro franchises, including Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, I know you've been hyped about that.
And Shinobi as well. Oh yeah, definitely. Shinobi's the last one that they also announced that they were going to be remaking a game for. And we do have a video showcasing a bit of this, so we can go and take a look at that.
Gamers were quick to express their excitement online. First comment that we got here was, I never thought I would ever see this day. New Jet Set Radio and a new Crazy Taxi announced on the same day. Sega is killing it. That Sega scream at the end was the cream of the crop. Shows that Sega is back again and more badass than ever. Now this is the Sega we remember. These legends will never die. The Japanese gaming giant also have film adaptations currently in development, with Shinobi from Mark Platt and Stories International announced back in 2016, including Lionsgate landing the film rights to Streets of Rage last year, recruiting John Wick writer Derek Kolstad. So HenricK, are you excited to play retro games and take a trip down memory lane?
Hey, you know what? Like you might have been able to tell from my excitement going through that list, I definitely am excited about at least a couple of them. You know, Crazy Taxi, I loved playing that on the Dreamcast. And Jet Set Radio, same thing. I loved playing that on the Dreamcast. And, you know, we just did Bomb Rush Cyberpunk earlier this year, which is basically a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. And to see that the original franchise is finally coming back, yes, this is what we wanted.
I mean, yeah, we got the PG version of Grand Theft Auto with Crazy Taxi, but, you know, we definitely had a conversation throughout the whole show talking about Call of Duty and, you know, bringing back, you know, the dusty-ass old games. Doesn't this kind of feel outdated? I know that they're trying to cater towards a new audience, but will Crazy Taxi actually kind of hit that same nostalgia that we once had back when we were little wee lads?
And maybe not, but, you know, we won't really know until it comes out. Clearly, though, people are not against them, you know, going to older franchises again, because people are excited, and I'm excited, you know.
Maybe they're getting excited because they're actually finally taking a step back, because remember, Sega got a lot of crap for trying to embrace blockchain gaming, and thank the Lord they moved on from that phase and are starting to develop more retro games. But let's speak on this whole Hollywood expansion, because you have to take credit that, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog, it grossed over $319 million at the worldwide box office in 2020. And then their sequel in 2022, racking in $405 million. So clearly, Sega is looking to spin out new films, television series, and licensed products of their legacy titles. And that's pretty incredible to see that we're going to get a Streets of Rage. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that a Streets of Rage movie was going to be in the works at any point. But,
Yeah.
you know, if it's anything in terms of quality, like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, it's going to be a good time. And that new Sonic the Hedgehog movie that they've been teasing, I'm excited for that too, because it really seems like they're trying to tease that they're going to be following the storyline of Sonic Adventure 2. And, if they follow that story, that's going to be great to see on screen.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, Sega's trying to breach like all age demographic. Obviously Sony's got more of the kind of the kid and teen base. Some of these other titles like the Streets of Rage and Shinobi will probably be catered to the teens and adults, which it just shows, like 20, 25 years ago, a lot of these Hollywood studios were just laughing at the idea like, hey, we saw that really shitty Super Mario Bros. Movie and, love you guys, but we're not quite there yet. Let's hold off. Now, this is just the age of video game movie adaptation. So, hey, we'll see if the Japanese gaming giant can get into the mix and lead the charge in Hollywood. But, man, didn't we have a great show? And we can't thank everyone for tuning in to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And while you've made it to the end of the show, you might as well hit the like and share and subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a live show. As you can see, check out my YouTube channel, The Chris College Show, by scanning the QR code. And HenricK The WrecK, let the people know what's good.
Yeah, so I post on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, or X, depending on what you'd like to call it. But anyways, basically every Friday I release a video in either the series Games to Play or In Development Soapbox. And Games to Play is the one for this week. And it's my chance to take a look at a game that I like to play. Maybe I play it with some friends, maybe I play it with myself. But it's a good game and I recommend it. And it's just a chance for me to recommend it to other people.
Yeah, it's so true. So go ahead and click the QR code and that will send you directly to HenricK The Wreck's YouTube channel. And thank you so much for always tuning in live Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we will have our season finale of Season 3 next Tuesday. So join along for the ride. We can't wait to see you guys live and enjoy yourself this weekend. Be safe, play lots of gaming, don't touch grass. I don't care what your mom and dad say. Play video games, baby, and rage out at the same time.
Absolutely. Don't forget. It's
Come
time
on
to
now.
rage every Tuesday.
That's
so join
right,
us again
baby.
next Tuesday. We'll rage for the last time
Come
in
on
the
now.
year.
Until the new year. That's right, baby. Peace.
Yeah.